I will leave the club at the end of the season.
I really don't want to do this video, if I'm going to be honest. I really don't want to do this video, but here we are, people. Jurgen Klopps last week as Liverpool manager. His last game will be on Sunday versus Wolves. So here we are. Here's the video. Jurgen Klopp's legacy at Liverpool. The highs, the lows, everything about it. The highlights, the amazing comebacks. Could he have done better? We're going to discuss it all in today's video. I don't even know how long this video is going to be. I'm just doing it straight vibes right now. I just want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. One word to describe Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool. Did he succeed? Do you think he could have done more? And also at the end of the video, I'll be talking about Arne Slot and him becoming the new manager of Liverpool Football Club. But hey, let's get into the video. Oh, God. Here we are, people. So, Jurgen Klopp became manager of Liverpool Football Club back in 2015 when I had wonderful hair, and now you see why I'm wearing the hats nowadays. The hairline is not good. Jurgen Klopp, immediately in that first press conference, you could just tell this guy knew exactly what Liverpool Football Club was about. Before him, and Liverpool fans will know about this, there was Brendan Rodgers, Kenny Dalglish, you name it, Roy Hodgson, Rafa Benitez obviously brought a Champions League, but nobody could really get close to winning the Premier League. Obviously, Brendan did, but I'm telling you right now, that was all Luis Suarez and Steven Gerrard. It had nothing to do with Brendan Rodgers' tactics. Nothing. It was just straight attacking football, no defense. Jurgen Klopp said immediately, watch, look at this quote. This is a fantastic quote from Jurgen Klopp. We have to change from doubters to believers. He understood that the fan base had been suffering for a long time and that they had to believe in themselves that they can win this Premier League and win major trophies. Because no Liverpool manager before that really installed it, other than Rafa. Nobody. You have to, yes, you can talk about tactics and everything like that, but it's about a sense of belief. It's about a sense of domination. And Jurgen Klopp, I think, instantly installed it within this football club, and that's the right mindset to have. You cannot have this negative mindset. Look at like Ange right now. He's trying to change the philosophy of Spurs. Obviously, he's realizing it's a tough job. Arteta with Arsenal, it's been a rough couple of years. He had to change their mindset. When you go to these clubs that have been in a banter era, like Dortmund have been, like Bayern are right now, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, all of these clubs have faced banter eras. So how do you overcome it? By installing belief within the fan base, and then the football will follow afterwards. That's exactly what Jurgen Klopp did. And he installed it immediately. Yes, I'm going to show you his first lineup. So when you see this first lineup, you're going to be like, God damn, this is what he had to work with? Because Liverpool's squad was just so average. I'm telling you, it was so average. Brendan did a good job getting the best out of players, almost won the Premier League. Then once he left and Suarez left, you just saw just poor management and poor transfers from the hierarchy. And there was no sense of direction. And after the draw with Everton, Rodgers, adios, and Jurgen Klopp came into the job. So, look at this first lineup. Look at this, people. This is Jurgen Klopp's first lineup against Tottenham Hotspur away. Origi, Milner, Lallana, Coutinho, Emre Can, Lucas Leiva, shout out to Lucas Leiva, Nathaniel Klein, Alberto Moreno, Sacco, Skrtel, Mignolet. When you look at that lineup, does that lineup scream to you, yes, you can immediately win the Premier League? Hell to the no. No. That lineup, Milner, shout out to Milner. Milner left wing. This is what he had to deal with. So people saying, oh my God, you know what? He should have won more Premier Leagues immediately in that first 5 years. With what? He's working with dust here. You're going up against Chelsea at the time, who had Hazard and all the quality players they had. Man City, of course, they just won the Premier League. And you're expecting him to make miracles out of that? Come on now. This is like Michael Bay not having any animation with his movies. He cannot have bang, bang, bang. It's just a silent movie. Michael Bay can't direct that. Heck no. He's not that sort of director. So it just shows you that the job Jurgen Klopp had to do was monumental. To at least go from, all right, maybe fighting for top 4 to getting top 4 to fighting for the Premier League and fighting for the major honors. It's gonna be sometimes painful, like losing away at Tottenham. I think it was 4-1 in that one game. You're gonna have setbacks. Losing to Man City 5-0 and Sadio Mane got the red card. These things are gonna happen, people. You're gonna have to face the low times to then, when you get to the top, all the glorious times. So I knew immediately when he came, and obviously when those players, I was like, yeah, this is gonna take a while. But what you need to see immediately from a new manager, style of football, and just say, okay, it's individual mistakes. Once we get more quality players, that's when you see the team flourish. And that's exactly what you started to see more and more as new acquisitions was coming into the team. And you saw then Coutinho turn into a really, really good player. The signings of Sadio Mane, then Bobby Firmino and Salah and all of these guys. Robertson, the emergence of Trent. Then obviously Matip on a free. Then you get obviously Van Dijk for a world record for a defender at the time. These are the sort of, you have to just show that the project is good and good players will arrive. You can't do that with that. If he somehow won a Champions League or Premier League with that team, that would be the most insane thing ever. Because even his Dortmund teams were much better. Blaszczykowski, Piszczek, those guys would start for this team immediately. So I think this just shows evidence of the ground that Jurgen Klopp was starting at. He was just using a shovel to get the dirt out. Just a shovel. He had no machinery, no equipment whatsoever. Just a bare shovel. But eventually, he moved up to a tractor. Then he moved up to a tractor that has those railings at the bottom so that he can dig up into the ground. And right now, you see what happened then. So let's move on. You see, look, these are the moments you just see that a Jurgen Klopp side is being built. And obviously this image is from the epic comeback against Dortmund where Lovren got the winner against Jurgen Klopp's old side in Dortmund. Unbelievable game. I remember I was in uni at the time. I was just chilling on the couch and just watching it on some very, very legal stream and just going crazy. And I just thought to myself, this might be it. I might have my Liverpool, finally. I have not seen a Liverpool side with just comeback and mentality. I have not seen it since Rafa Benitez. That's the only time in my lifetime where I've seen a Liverpool team have mentality. But with that comeback, and then obviously a crazy game against Norwich as well during that season, I said, there is something here. There is a mentality that Jurgen Klopp has installed within these players. You can criticize Klopp for his tactics, and I've done that in the past as well, saying, okay, you're just playing the same way. But what you need is mentality. City, who we say are going to be the greatest Premier League dynasty ever, yes, sometimes it's not working for them. Company, Aguero, you name it. They all have that late game mentality that, okay, if it's not working out, I'm going to take it. I'm going to be the man to do it. And Klopp had to do it with this team. And unfortunately, during that Europa League season, they met the Kings of Sevilla. My God. Oh, Sturridge, that goal was ridiculous. But I think these are the moments that you will remember. And this is one moment. This is like a top 5 moment for me during Klopp's time at Liverpool because it just shows the signals and the progress that was being made is evident. You can talk about other moments. The heartbreak moments, of course, losing the Champions League final. That's a heartbreak moment, but you can just tell that there was a fight within this team. But to me, this is the pivotal moment that says, Klopp is that guy, just got to back him. Just got to back him more and more. I mean, that game was crazy. I remember Aubameyang, Royce, they were absolutely balling out. Origi got a goal away in Dortmund. Unbelievable tie, and just shows the signs were definitely there to be had. So then we obviously move on. Liverpool then start getting top 4. They make it to the Champions League. And obviously, this is from the 17-18 Champions League. During that campaign, Remember, Liverpool destroyed Man City 3-0. Now, obviously, the away game was a bit controversial, but we'll move on. But the home game, that 30 minutes, first 30 minutes at Anfield against a Pep team that got 100 points was an absolute destruction. That was the finest, and obviously, 18, 19, 19, 20, Jurgen Klopp's side were just a machine and just about controlling games. They didn't allow a lot of goals. But that first 30 minutes against Man City in the Champions League quarterfinal, I think that's the best Liverpool I've seen. I'm just, the press, everything about that first 30 minutes was Jurgen Klopp football at its finest. They just took the game to Man City, and Otamendi and the Man City defenders had no clue what hit them. Nothing. Ox with the goal, Sadio Mane. It was just a beautiful, beautiful 30 minutes, and it was enough for then Liverpool to advance to the semi-finals, and they beat AS Roma, and, well, we know what happened in the final. I don't need to say the name.
It's far more straightforward to Oh, he's gone for it! And it's...
You know the name. It's a heartbreak for Jurgen Klopp. But how many people realistically picked Liverpool to win that final? Against a Real Madrid team that did back-to-back. A Liverpool team that are making their first Champions League since 2007. Final, excuse me. Now, not many people, but Liverpool put up a good fight. And we know the culprit. But I think there's are signs there. You keep on progressing. Obviously, Van Dijk was bought in that January, so that really helped to give more influence to the team. Bring in more leaders. Bring in more quality. It just shows you step by step. It's getting better. And hopefully, eventually, Jurgen Klopp will deliver. But I'll say it again. That first 30 minutes against Man City at Anfield, some of the best football I've seen as a Liverpool fan. Some of the best. Just absolute destruction of a Pep Guardiola side that were unstoppable as well. They were absolutely unstoppable. I remember watching the Amazon documentary. Pep's like, what the heck do I do with Firmino? What do I do with Salah? What do I do with Mane? Just shows you that Jurgen Klopp, Salah was a good player at Serie A. Very good player at Fiorentina, AS Roma. Obviously, Sadio Mane was a very good player at Southampton. Brendan Rodgers thought he could play right wing back. I don't know what Brendan Rodgers was smoking that day. Probably, Snoop Dogg's blunt. But clearly, Klopp said, okay, I got Firmino. He's going to be my creator. Then I obviously got the two dangerous wingers in Sadio Mane and Salah. And those are where most of the goals are going to come from. Jurgen just built an attack that just scared the living daylights out of every opponent. Most teams did not want to play against Liverpool because they knew it is going to be 90 minutes of rock and roll, AC/DC, you name it, Motley Crue football. And it's about the opponents saying, are we mentally prepared to face those guys? Obviously, the midfield didn't have the same quality. No, it didn't. It was all about the attack. And the midfield just doing its job and getting the best of Bobby Firmino. That's why I always say that Bobby Firmino is one of the most key players in Klopp's managerial career. Because without him, would then Salah and Mane flourish? But Klopp knew, I got an absolute genius in Bobby. Let's just play through him. Let him be the creator as well. And he can get some key goals, no-look goals and everything about it. Just shows that Klopp, he hasn't had the craziest of budgets. Obviously, he has spent money. There's no denying. He has spent money. But he hasn't had the wealthiest of owners. But also, I don't think Klopp wants that. Klopp wants to make dust into gold. And I'm not saying those players were dust when they came to Liverpool. They were very good players. Any player that's a professional is a very good player, in my opinion, if you've played academy football. But then he just elevated everybody. From Robertson. I didn't watch much of Robertson at Hull City. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? This man is just drinking all the iron brew and just running up and down, putting in perfect crosses, defending well, pressing like a monster. Again, Jurgen Klopp football. 4-3. What does Robertson do? Was it at 3-1 or 4-1? Presses the living daylight out of Ederson and Otamendi. Another highlight of just Jurgen Klopp football at its finest. Some people could say, oh my God, he's just a madman. Why is he pressing like that? Gets all the other players involved. Everybody feels a part of the team. That's what you need. You see it with Xabi Alonso right now with Bayer Leverkusen. He's getting everybody involved. Stanic just is stepping up. Schick, everybody. In football, It's not always just about one man. That's why Messi and Ronaldo are just out of this world. They're out of this world because of how good they are. But you need to build a team. Camaraderie. Everybody needs to feel involved. And that's exactly what Klopp did. It's just unfortunate with that Champions League final. But I got to say, Liverpool actually played a pretty good game. They played a pretty good game that day. And obviously Salah got injured. Ramos. The next season. I mean, what can you do, people? 97 points. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. 97 points and not to win a league is actually stupid. It's actually stupid that you didn't win the trophy. Like, how gut-wrenching must that feel within the heart and all of the effort you have put in? It's like, I don't know, if you're an architect or you're a designer and you have this perfect layout. Everything's just picture perfect. But maybe you forgot like one little corner and they give it to another architect. Maybe that's the same equivalent. Give me another analogy in the comments down below. Because that is exactly what Liverpool, they were so perfect during that season. Inches. Mother effing inches with stones. That will forever, I am never watching that replay again. Never. You think I'm watching that replay? Hell no. Hell no. But that just shows you what Pep has done. Pep has just said, cool, you guys are all here. Like, really, really good level. But I'm a zombie. I don't feel anything. He is just straight, get the win, that is it. And that's what you have to be if you're Liverpool that season. You just have to beat Man City. And that's the only loss they had that year. Imagine losing one game all year, but no Premier League. That's just so stupid, honestly. So stupid. But it just shows you the sort of level that both teams were at that year. I mean, both teams were just unstoppable. Seriously unstoppable. But it's just a shame. It doesn't matter. You still finish second. And that's what everybody will see in 20 years and 30 years time. They're not going to look in depth on, oh my God, Liverpool went on a crazy winning streak and so did Man City. No, they're going to see Man City first, champions, Liverpool second. They say, oh cool, you got 97 points. It don't matter. You lost. And that's what's going to haunt, I think, those Liverpool players and Jurgen Klopp for after their careers. They're going to be like, how on earth did we not win that 18-19 season? They're going to just think to themselves, we were mere perfect. Nothing could stop us except for Man City. But that just shows that the level of the Premier League that year, other than the rest of the 18 teams, because the rest of the 18 teams were, pretty average. But those two, they just took it up another level and another level and another level. It was just sublime. Absolutely sublime. But luckily that year, he finally achieved one of his biggest achievements, and that is winning his first ever Champions League. Obviously losing with Dortmund the Champions League final, losing 2018 with Liverpool. But the next season he said, watch this. And he did exactly. It wasn't the most convincing of Champions League winners, because remember the group stage. Alisson made a crazy save on Milik last group stage game against Napoli. If that went in, Liverpool are out. They go Europa League. Tough group. You got obviously Crvena Zvezda, you got PSG, you got Napoli. Liverpool progressed. It wasn't easy. They lost away to Crvena Zvezda. A lot of crazy. It was a really interesting group. Round of 16. Bayern Munich, 0-0 at home, 3-1 away. So when everybody says, oh, you beat Tottenham in a Champions League final, did he really... Look, see, this is sometimes... Same thing with Man City last year in the Champions League. Look at the path they took to win the Champions League. You can say, oh, they beat Inter. Well, Inter are a good team. Who did they beat in the semifinal? Real Madrid. Who did they beat in the quarterfinal? Bayern Munich. You have to look at the path that sometimes the Champions League winners have to take. Don't just look at the final and look at how, oh, maybe you weren't deserving. Look at the entire thing. Do some research. Don't be just a stats guy and look at one thing. Read. Quarterfinal, I mean, the yearly smacking of Porto. I don't know why Porto just somehow don't perform against Liverpool. And then the semifinal, one of the greatest comebacks in Champions League history. 3-0 down to Barcelona after Messi absolutely put a masterclass on at the Camp Nou. And then without Salah, without Bobby Firmino. Remember those two names. No Salah, no Bobby Firmino. Guess who was in the starting lineup that day for Liverpool at Anfield when they did the 4-0 comeback? The front three was Divock Origi, Shaqiri, Sadio Mane. That was the front three. And you know who came off the bench at halftime? Gini Wijnaldum. And who played left back? James Milner. So take all into that consideration. Take all that information, store it in your brain right now, and just think to yourself, how did he do that against Suarez, Coutinho, Messi, and the entire Barcelona team that was fantastic that year? How did Klopp do it? Because 1-0 up, halftime, obviously Origi got the early goal, and then it was just magic. Something he said at that halftime just sparked something within these players to say, we got this. They didn't play the best football. Barcelona had a lot of chances during that game, but they just had that mentality. They knew once we get a goal, the heads will drop for Barca. That's exactly what happened. And Klopp must have said that during the entire halftime. Just get the early goal. Their heads will go immediately. That's what happened. And obviously Origi got the corner taken quickly, and Barca PTSD fans hits now. And what do they do in the final? Well, was one of the worst Champions League finals ever, but I could care less. As Jurgen Klopp finally lifted his first Champions League and Liverpool's first Champions League since 2005. And one of the glorious moments of his career, and he deserved it. For the path he took, for all the losses he took in Champions League finals, to finally secure it, you could just see how much emotion he had, and he had achieved everything other than the Premier League, which we'll get to very soon. Just a glorious moment for him and for Liverpool Football Club, and I can't think of another deserving manager to win a Champions League other than him, Simeone, Inzaghi, these sort of guys. These managers deserve it because they have worked so hard. Maybe they don't have always the best squad, but they just have good coaching and mentality. And that's what Klopp did. And finally, he got his Champions League, fully deserving of it. And then the next season in the Premier League, he said, cool. We might have gotten 97 points. Let's do better, people. Let's do better. Let's put on an absolute show for everybody. And that's what Liverpool did again. Unbeaten until, what was it, February or March against Watford. That's like 20-something games. 20-something games to start an unbeaten season. Ridiculous from Klopp and Liverpool. They just knew, okay, cool. We got to immediately take a 10-point lead. We have to. That's exactly what we have to do. They didn't make any crazy signings over that summer. Nothing significant that said, okay, cool. If they make this signing, they're going to win the Premier League. No. They just went with the same guys. They just knew we need a better start. We need to send a message throughout the Premier League that we ain't playing around anymore. And Liverpool finally secured their first Premier League in over 30 years. And finally, I got to see, even though it was during COVID and all this sort of stuff, you won COVID Premier League, yada. Liverpool won that Premier League by February, March. It was over. It was just about chilling and enjoying the moment. Obviously, if somehow Liverpool went unbeaten that year, oh my God, we would even have a different conversation about Klopp, but he still got 99 points. 99 points he got from a Jurgen Klopp side after losing it with 97. They said, cool, we'll just do one better than Man City the previous year. That's what they did, and finally, Liverpool won a Premier League, and Klopp said exactly what he would do. From doubters to believers to winners. And finally, Liverpool fans cherish the moment and cherish every iconic thing that this manager has brought. Imagine if Jurgen Klopp left after this moment. Would we have a different sort of storyline about him? Because afterwards, we're going to talk about the struggles of Champions League final, losing more Premier Leagues. We're going to talk about it. But imagine if he left after this moment. Will we have a different conversation? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below about that. Because maybe we would be. We'd be like, hey, you know what? You didn't do anything for the first 3 years, but after it, can't deny. Unbelievable stuff. Getting 97 points, 99 points, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League. No complaints. One of the greatest managers of Liverpool history. He still is, in my opinion, but to do that, that would have been insane. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to say about Liverpool during that year. They were just dominant. They didn't play like ultra crazy attacking football, but they just did not concede a lot of goals. They just said, we ain't allowing anything this year. Van Dijk is going to be a beast. Alisson is going to be a beast. Our midfield is going to be a beast. That's what Jurgen Klopp said. We can't just be this free-flowing attacking football where we have to win every game 4-3, 5-4. We saw it in the first 2 to 3 years of him at Liverpool. You know, he had crazy games against Bournemouth, Norwich, and all of these teams. And you thought, okay, cool. It's great to play attacking football, but it needs to be sustainable. That's not sustainable winning football. Look at Pep. You have to have control. And maybe Klopp realized that he needs to get more control of his team and the style of play in order to achieve the big trophies. Well, I think he kind of developed into that, and he brought the Premier League trophy to Anfield for the first time. God, it felt like way too long. Way too long. But now let's get to the sad parts, because there is sad parts after 2020. You lose the Premier League again on the final day. On the final day, and then you lose the Champions League again to Real Madrid. Do you really blame Klopp for that Champions League final? I mean, Courtois put on the greatest performance ever in a Champions League final. The greatest performance. Go back and look at those saves. Then you have Naby Keita practicing to become an NFL kicker. What can Klopp do? I don't blame him at all for that Champions League final. No complaints whatsoever. The forwards didn't do their job. Then obviously Trent sleeping at the back post, Vinny getting the goal. I have no complaints about it. The Premier League, again, you get 92 points, 93 points. Like, what are you supposed to do? I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation. You play wonderful football. Yes, the draw against Spurs at home maybe was a downward spiral, and that could really backfire on him possibly winning a second Premier League. But getting 92 points is still ridiculous numbers, people. We're not talking about, 72 points, 75, you lost like 10 games, 8 games. No! You got 92 points. 92 points. You know how many games they lost that season? Again, 2. So to lose 3 games in a 2-season span and you win no Premier Leagues. What are we talking about here? Again, this is just what you're up against is the greatest manager of all time in Pep Guardiola. He is. I have now come to that fruition, that Pep is the greatest manager of all time. So Klopp, will his legacy just be that he was the second man and that you're just up against the GOAT manager and you're unfortunate? You have a guy who's just unbelievable. You're very good, but can you get to that status? It's sad for Klopp. It is, because if he had won more Premier Leagues, let's say Klopp won 3 Premier Leagues, would we have a different narrative about him? What if he won 2 Champions Leagues? I think people would then have him at a higher regard. Now I just see a lot of this discourse about, oh my God, he's a flop and this sort of stuff. He spent all this money. He brought 1 Premier League. When you're going up against the greatest manager of all time, how many La Ligas did Mourinho win in La Liga during Pep's time? And what did it take for Mourinho to win a La Liga during Pep's time at Barca? Didn't they get like 100 points and 120 goals or something? That is the sort of standards you have to beat a Pep Guardiola team. You can't just be very good. You have to be amazing. You have to be sensational. So it's unfortunate for Klopp, but the Champions League final, I can't blame him. I can't. But he's gonna take the heat because that's his team, and you didn't get over the line. You lost 1-0. Premier League, yeah, like I said, the Tottenham draw late at the end of the season. You cannot let that slip away like that. Those are just the fine margins that wins you the Premier League and wins you the major honors. So let's look at it. Let's look at it, people. Look, 92 points. I mean, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Stupid, man. You can see 26 goals and you don't win a Premier League. Oh, man. Look at these images. You can just see how much he has aged. Look, let me go back to... You can just see... Look at him, happy, smiling. He's got hair. Not really a lot of gray hairs on him. 4 years on, I think the stress of this club and Premier League football has really gotten to Klopp. It has. He's mentally done. I think he's physically done as well. With managers... It's the most high-pressure job now in football. Could you say in sports? A football manager might be the highest pressure in all of sports. You can talk about tennis players. You can talk about basketball being the superstar of one team. But a football manager, the microscope they are under nowadays. Taking all the questions from press conferences, having to talk to players, having to talk to medical staff, having to talk to everybody, and just keeping a family happy. But it just seemed like Klopp said, I can't do it anymore, guys. I just want to have a beer and just relax on some German mountain and just look at the grass and say, I just need to just chill out. That's probably what he thought to himself. You cannot constantly do this over and over and over again. It's going to take a toll. It's with any job, people. If you're in a highly stressful job, and you're going week in, week out, Monday to Friday, boom, 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 eventually it's going to take a toll on you. Physically, but mentally. Maybe that's what happened to Klopp. And people are going to say, oh, flop, he couldn't handle it anymore, this and that. I think most managers, you look at them, they're like, bro, I don't want this pressure anymore. I just want to live a normal life. I'm a human being. At the end of the day, people, these people are human beings. We can always look at footballers and say, oh my God, these guys are just superstars. They're not from our planet. They are human beings. They have a side to them as well. And was the timing right for his announcement? I mean, I've been seeing so much discourse about, oh my God, he should have waited till May to announcement or wait till April to announce it. No, just if the rumors were going to get leaked, just announce it yourself, Klopp. And clearly, he was done. He was done, and I don't really blame him. 9 years? 9 years is a long time, people. 9 years is a long time. 9 years ago, I had none of this. This beautiful lush beard and mustache and everything about it. Yes, it's very lush. Coconut oil works. Done everything. And he did everything. Club World Cup. Now, let's look at the accolades, people. Premier League. FA Cup. 2 League Cups. I'm not counting Community Shield. 1 Champions League. Super Cup. Club World Cup. He achieved everything. Except the Europa League. I mean, are you really going to say, oh my God, you never won a Europa League? Come on, people. Come on. What else was he supposed to do? And I know people will say, Michael, he should have won more Premier Leagues. I fully agree. He should have won at least 2 to 3. If he won 2 to 3, cool. But still to bring the first one for Liverpool, after all the failures of previous managers and just terrible tactics and everything about it, to deliver the first one, he could be I'm not saying it's going to happen that, the next manager who we're going to talk about very soon is going to be oh my God, he's going to really elevate Liverpool to the next level and become this superstar manager. But maybe Klopp has laid the foundation for a healthy club and they can go in the right direction now compared to where Rodgers left them, Hudson and Kenny Dalglish and all of these managers. But you cannot deny what he has achieved. You can't deny it. They're all right there. You can see. It's okay, Michael. He's one of the same Premier Leagues as Claudio Ranieri. He's won the same Champions Leagues as Di Matteo. I fully get it. I fully understand that. You can say that to Jurgen Klopp. You can say that to Liverpool fans. I'm not gonna go against the people. Michael, he should have won more Premier Leagues. He spent this much money. He should have won this Champions Leagues. Look, I can't deny those facts. That's why this channel, I don't do a lot of narratives and saying, oh my God, if Pep gets fined for 115 charges, we should discount all of his Premier Leagues. No, we shouldn't. Because he achieved greatness. And if he's a manager, he should be backed as being the greatest manager of all time. Same with Sir Alex Ferguson. Why do you think Man United kept getting the best players and the best players? Because they knew Sir Alex was that guy. He was that guy. Same thing with LeBron. Why do you want to team up LeBron with all these star players? Because he's the best player in the world. That's what you do. So, I don't really do a lot of these narrative things with football. But the one narrative that maybe I could agree with is Klopp should at least won one more major trophy. At least one Premier League. One more Premier League. Champions Leagues is always difficult, people. Champions League is the most difficult trophy to win in football. Same with the World Cup. Champions League is so difficult. You have to be perfect every single game almost. Every single game. There's just this little difference between the teams that lose and the team that wins the Champions League. The Premier League, it's about consistency, style of football, winning mentality. How can you bring it? But overall, I think his time was a success. And any manager that was going to bring Liverpool, if Brendan Rodgers brought Liverpool their first Premier League trophy, I would have said he was a success at Liverpool. Yeah, I would have said that. Because that would have been a monumental achievement. So for Klopp to do it, I think he is a success. What's one word to describe Klopp's time at Liverpool? Would you say underwhelming? Failure? Could have done more? How do you describe it in one word? I would say, what's a good word for it? See, I'm doing this at the spot, people. This is what we do on the Michael Talks Football channel. Would I say unlucky? I know some people would say bridesmaid. I would say unlucky. But when you talk about then, Michael, what about 22-23 season? What about this last season? How many people realistically said Liverpool are going to win the Premier League this year? I never thought if the only moment I would have believed that Liverpool would win the Premier League in 23-24 would have been if they won away at Man United late in the season. But they didn't. And that just showed that this team cannot mentally handle the pressure right now and also can't defend. What would you give a rating for Klopp's time at Liverpool? I would say it's a 8 out of 10. It would have been a 9 out of 10 if he got a second Premier League. A 10 out of 10 would have been 3 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions Leagues. That would have been a 10 out of 10. I would say an 8 out of 10. Premier League, Champions League, you did it. You did it, buddy. You have achieved what you wanted. And that's exactly... Klopp is a guy who's not flustered about, I want 3 Champions League. I want to win it all the time. All the time. No, I don't think Klopp is that sort of manager. I think he's a very sort of down-to-earth guy where he's happy with this. He said, look at what I've achieved, people. And he said, I've brought together the Liverpool fan base that was basically destroyed after Brendan Rodgers and Roy Hodgson. So Klopp will be very happy, and all I can say to Klopp is, Danke schön, Klopp. You have achieved what you were supposed to do, and now Liverpool go in a new direction, and it's going to be weird not to see the fist bumps and everything about it. It's going to be sad, but good things must come to an end, and now Liverpool can go in a new direction with Arne Slot. I've seen some people have DM'd me, sent me messages on Instagram. Michael, when are you going to talk about Arne Slot to Liverpool? Remember, people, follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and also join the Discord. We all always discuss about football there or anything you guys want to discuss, movies, TV shows. But now Arne Slot is going to be the new Liverpool manager. And I have talked about him quite a bit on this channel. Now, I have watched... I didn't even watch the stream. I just saw one Liverpool fan channel, and the title was Arne Slot out. The guy hasn't even managed 1 minute. 1 minute, and it's already Arne Slot out. Michael, it's an underwhelming hire. Is he going to be good? What is he going to achieve with Liverpool? He's going to be a bust in 6 months, 7 months. He's just another Ten Hag because he's bald and he's Dutch. I've seen it all, people. This is why I don't engage with a lot of Liverpool fans, because they're very passionate. And any manager that will follow Klopp is going to be under a huge microscope because of what Klopp has built. Even if Simeone, Inzaghi, you name it, it's going to be a risk to hire those managers after Klopp. Because the fan base of Liverpool love Jurgen Klopp. So I kind of feel bad for Arne Slot if he is going to be the new manager, which most likely he will, because we've gotten the here we go from Fabrizio. I think it's a good hiring. Look at the managers available, people. All of the managers right now would be a risk. Thomas Tuchel, Thiago Motta, Zerbi, Amorim, you name it. They would all be a risk after Jurgen Klopp. And look at Bayern Munich. Those guys cannot get anything right now. They are on Tinder app and just getting swipe left, swipe left, swipe left, swipe left every single time. At least Liverpool said, cool, we can't get Amorim. Amorim don't want to join. High salary. Maybe Liverpool, we're not ever interested in him. Yada, yada, all this rumor talk. They said, cool, let's go get Arne Slot. And clearly Arne Slot is ready for the job. Last season, rejected Spurs because he brought Feyenoord back to Champions League football, and he wanted to taste of the highest level of football. Going up against Simeone, going up against Sarri. And I like that about Arne Slot. He said, I could easily take the easy job and go to Spurs right now. But he wanted to get experience at the highest level, but still stay with Feyenoord to see how he can do with the crop of players he had. He did decent, finished third in the group, Maybe should have finished above Lazio, all this sort of stuff, and then met AS Roma. We know the history of AS Roma and Feyenoord. I like Arne Slot. Good at football. It's very similar stylistically to Klopp. Now, some Liverpool fans will say we kind of need to go away from that chaotic football where there's no structure, and I kind of agree. I wish we could have gone more for structure. Sometimes you just got to defend. That's why I don't like sometimes with Klopp football, that it was just too chaotic. The defensive line was all over the place. And I hope Arne Slot, that's the first thing he needs to do. Defensively, need to get better. There's clearly goal scorers on this team. But Arne Slot's style of football is high pressing and attacks down the wing. If you think Liverpool crossed the ball a lot now, wait till Arne Slot. I mean, this guy is always about crosses, crosses, crosses. So if you're Darwin Núñez or any striker, Jota, Gakpo, get ready. Get ready, because there's going to be a lot of deliveries into the box for you. But the one thing I can say about Arne Slot, watching Feyenoord, is they also have a good mentality. Never die attitude. Pressing from the front. I like that about Arne Slot. And he brought Feyenoord from, they were struggling a little bit financially to winning the Eredivisie, to bringing back Champions League football, to winning the Dutch Cup. So clearly Arne Slot, remember, he was at AZ Alkmaar. They would have won the Eredivisie had COVID not happened. I think so. Arne Slot is in a very difficult situation. The expectation next season cannot be, he's going to bring a Premier League. No, it cannot be. Did Pep bring a Premier League in his first season? Did Sir Alex? Did Klopp? The only manager is Conte and Mourinho, from what I can remember. That on their first season in the Premier League, they delivered it. I don't think Arne Slot is going to do that. You're going up against Pep. You see what Arteta's doing with Arsenal. Teams are getting better and better in the Premier League. There is so much pressure to manage in the Premier League. And especially with all the eyeballs and all the media coverage on Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea. These clubs get so much just publicity and everything about it that if you make one small mistake, they will constantly talk about it, constantly talk about it, constantly talk about it. How is Arne Slot going to deal with the pressure? That's going to be evident in the first couple of weeks. How does he deal with himself in press conferences? How does he engage with the fans? How does he engage with the players? Because obviously the players are going to look around and say, our father figure is gone in Jurgen Klopp, and now we have a new guy. Do we take him in? Or do we say, yeah, your tactics are not really going to work with us? These are the sort of things we will see with Arne Slot. But I think it is a good hiring. I think it is. It might not be... Am I saying that Arne Slot is going to win a Premier League? No. Because I have no clue. I really don't. It comes down to what players Liverpool sign and also how long is Pep here for. It's gotten to that point where as long as Pep is in any league, whether it's Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, it's his league. It's his league. This is not the Premier League. It's the Pep League. So Arne Slot needs to understand that. You can have a gun-ho approach with stylistically football, having this chaotic, having all the forwards pressing and this sort of stuff. But you also have to have control. Be good defensively. That's what Arne Slot has to immediately identify with this Liverpool team. But can he be a success? Who knows? I honestly don't know. I'm going to see after that first season. If I see good signs, I'm like, okay, cool. We can build upon this. Just get a couple more players, maybe of higher quality, and Arne Slot can deliver the Premier League. But it's always going to be a risk after Jurgen Klopp. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. How will Arne Slot do at Liverpool Football Club? Do you think he can bring a Premier League? Can he bring a Champions League? Are you excited by the hiring? Are you a little bit like, oh, Michael, this is not a good hiring. Maybe it's just another Brendan Rodgers, highly hipster manager. Let me know your thoughts, people. Maybe he just shops at Urban Outfitters or something like that. Who knows? But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, people, of Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool. Now Arne Slot being the manager. What's your highlight moment of Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool? Is it the Dortmund comeback? Is it beating Man City in the quarterfinal? Is it winning the Premier League, Champions League? I want to hear your highlight moments. And yeah, I've almost been here now for, 45 minutes? Damn, this is a long-ass video. But everybody, have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Remember to check out the previews for the Euros and the Copa America. You can find those playlists on the channel. Remember also to join the Discord if you want to become a member and support the channel. Membership is always available. But now, it's have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. And until next time, adios.